Yes.
Sly wants to commit suicide.
Why?
Political suicide.
What are you talking about?
Andy, President Mama is not a good messenger, but even Bawumia is a good messenger. Please, where is Bogata? Andy, why kept quiet? Why you discuss President Mama? I'm not allowed to discuss anybody in your party. I can even discuss you if I want.
Discuss me.
Discuss me. Even Bawumia purports to be a credible messenger. Even Bawumia. The most discredited, please. Oh, right, I kept quiet. The most discredited politician in the last 40 years. Whose hopelessness as head of the economic management team has led us here. Even he says he's a messenger. The man who lampoons a government for leaving the debt of 120 billion and helms a team that has increased our debt to 600 billion says he's a messenger and he should be listened to. So when you say that President Obama once said that Ghanaians have short memories and that he thinks he can benefit from that, right, Randy? If that were not the case, you would have been booted out in 2020. For an utterly useless performance in government.
So you think Ghanaians has short memory?
No, I'm making that. I'm analyzing what you said. You use that phrase as a basis to ground your submission. And I'm saying that if that were not the case, your NPP government would have been booted out in 2020 for utterly useless governance. Look, what you have done to this country amounts to a crime against Ghanaians. The very idea that you are even putting up Bawumia or Alanchemantin to contest for the presidency of this country is offensive. It stinks to the highest heavens. After the economic atrocities you have committed against the people of this country. Even Bawumia says he is a messenger. Who should be listened to? The man who complained about exchange rate at 4 cedis and once took it to 17 cedis says he's a good messenger. The man who complained about a B- rating and has defaulted on our debt says he's a good messenger. The man who has taken 87 billion Ghana cedis of people's borrowings to government says he's a good messenger. And the man who didn't do that is a bad messenger. And please, you see, every metric that is used to assess good governance that the MPP latches onto will be demolished. They have been appalling, utterly useless in government, Randy, without equivocation. And when you are useless in government, you are thrown out. You don't present people to come and contest elections. Why? Alan Chamantin, was he not a member of that so-called solid economic management? He thinks that because Bawumia was the poster boy, he can get away with it. I mean, Randy, in what way is Alan Chamantin ever going to beat your mama in the debate or contest about performance? Is he not one of those people who have destroyed our economy? Look, Randy, how can anybody look at this Ghanaian economy and say that based on it, the MPP should get a pass? And that President Mama, who as head of the management team of this economy, in 2011, achieved the best ever outcomes we've had in about 50 years, does not qualify to contest for president. So please, we relish that debate. Tell the people of Ghana whether a government that defaults on our debt is better than one that did not default. A government under whom economic crimes are committed with gusto once its mandate renewed. But the one that did not do that should be booted out. And I'm surprised that for somebody who has taken S. Garcia before, just like myself, he does not appreciate what S. Garcia is. So he confuses that with the pension of the former president. Former presidents, they receive pensions. So President Kufuor receives same. Had President Rawlings been alive, he would be receiving same. That is not S. Garcia. And the S. Garcia is a lump sum payment that is given to political appointees of a certain category who exits office. That is what President Mama is talking about. The moment he is elected president, he will stop receiving the pension. Because the constitution does not allow presidents and former presidents to work. So they must subsist. So they are paid a pension. So he must delineate the issues properly. Before you want to attack somebody, you must understand what he has said. He didn't understand what President Mahama said and he's attacking him. Randy, he is raving and ranting about gun lands. The criminality that President Kufuor supervised, and I'm so sorry that I have to be this blunt, that he supervised when he carved out state lands like confetti and shared it for any and everybody in his government. And I have that list. One day I'll give it to you to publish. It is a roll of shame. Disgraceful looting and stealing of Ghana lands. That is what President Mama wants to keep. He says what President Mama has Ghana lands. Why? President Akufo's daughter, 30-something-year-old daughter, who has been given an acre of land to put up a plush restaurant. Where did she get it from? And the radio stations that they built, right? I beg you. No, I beg you. Oh, I beg you. I'm saying that publish any list. Look, publish any list.
His children. Publish everything in this country.
Publish any list. President Mubarak's daughter. As they say in Ghana, where did she get a land from? You are coming to talk about lands. Everybody in the Kufuor government, everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry. In fact, after they didn't restrict it to land, even uncompleted affordable housing, they shared it like confetti. Drivers of ministers, their wives, everybody they knew was getting some. You want to discuss that matter? Bring it on. Why? President Obama says the constitution, the retirement arrangements are such that the state is supposed to provide you with accommodation. They have provided some for President Kufuor. He suggested that instead of building him a new one, let him stay where he stayed, which is a very small accommodation for a president. He endured that. You said no when you humiliated him. The man lives in his own accommodation. You are supposed to give him office space. You haven't done that. You've done it for President Kufuor. The man works or operates from his own office. So he does not require you to look after him. But the idea that because something has been going on for some time, we cannot change, reflects the government or the thinking of a party that has a sense of entitlement to the public purse. They think that Ghanaians must continue to finance their lavish lifestyles. So when somebody wants to reform the system and bring an end to the rape that you are perpetrating on the public purse, you have in arms against him. President Obama says nobody in his government will take ex gratia. Your position is that you want ex gratia to be continued. So tell the people of Ghana, that you want to pay ex gratia after you are voted for in 2024. President Obama says he won't pay it, and let the people of Ghana make a determination which of these two positions is in their interest. If you cannot abolish the thing, don't go criticizing another man. For President Obama has done absolutely no wrong by tabling this for discussion. And slide, that lie about we not being able to distribute chalk must stop. And I've been on your program, and I've told you that in the period that we're in power, close to 1 million boxes of chalk was distributed for schools. It is documented, it is recorded. So that lie that we couldn't distribute chalk should be discontinued, should be dismissed. Why? You, Randy, no, please. We are entering the 4th year in which they've been unable to provide textbooks. Something as basic as that. Textbooks. 4 years. You prefer to pump $58 million into digging useless holes in the middle of Accra to build cathedrals. You import stones from Israel to build cathedrals in Accra. That is what you want to use public funds for. President Obama says he would have none of it. He never requested for a private jet in which he could take his bath. You are doing it shamelessly. And you want to defend this. You tell the people of Ghana that they have short memory, so you remind them of what? Randy, what in the President Mohammed's tenure comes close to the appalling attack that this government has launched on the public purse? How are you ever going to win a debate against President Mahama? His record is vastly superior to anything that you, Bawumia or Alan office. Randy, let me make my submission. I beg.
No, but
Randy,
Bawumia, you don't have time left. So
Randy,
2 minutes left.
Bawumia, Alan.
I'll give you 5 minutes.
Randy, Bawumia, Alan Chemanting. In fact, almost everybody who has showed interest in the MB flag bearership has been part of the economic management team. What have been the outcomes? Is this not the worst economic situation we've had in our history? Randy, when do you remember that we defaulted on our loans? Something as basic as that, you can't do it. You've made us a laughing stock. You humiliated us. Countries like Togo and Benin and Sierra Leone and Liberia are doing better. Guinea are doing better than us. And you thump your chest and tell us that you are going to compare records. What record are you going to survive? Right? There's not one thing that you have done better than the NDC. The very idea that President Mahama's record is superior to yours makes him better than anybody you present in your party. Anybody you present will be inferior to President Mahama because his record is better. That's why I mentioned Bawumia. These days, what does he do? He goes to church to dance more heartily than the Pope. Perhaps he should adopt a Christian name because he finds that is where he finds solace. When you take him on the substantive matters, he falls short. So he has run away, he has fled, shown a clean pair of heels. As they say in Tree, or the when it comes to economic discussions. Who would have thought that the one who was fronting all the economic propaganda, telling lies, will today run away from the very subject? He doesn't want to discuss the economy. He wants to be a priest now. And Alan, as I have said, has been a part and parcel of this mess. When Bawumia announced the economic management team, he had a prominent place. He had pride of place in that list. He too will be asked questions about his tenure. It is just as well that many believe that Bawumia will emerge. So perhaps he may escape scrutiny because he won't show up in the first place. But on the basis of what the MPP has done, there's no reasonable Ghanaian, not one, who will vote to renew their mandate. Not one. You cannot destroy a country like this and be rewarded with the renewal of mandate. Randy, what did we lose elections for? When we lost elections, inflation was at 15.4%. You took inflation to 54% and you want to be maintained.
Randy.
When we lost elections, when we lost elections, our cedi was exchanging for four cedis to $1. That was the exchange rate. In November last year, it went to 17 cedis to $1. And Randy, the pain that cost for businesses and households is unspeakable. You put people through this and you thump your chest and say, what have you done better than the NDC? Why? You think the people of Ghana are galaxies? They will reward you for such hopelessness.